So just a disclaimer, this is actually only one part of a series I'm making that's going to be compiled into a larger video. So be sure to start from part 1, but also to look out for the entire compilation. Thank you for watching. Nen writing system? Question mark? Right. So I probably should have covered this earlier, but I wasn't really going to because there's not a lot of info, to be honest, but I changed my mind again. Also, I'm just adding this in because I'm too lazy to go through the effort of editing like 90 plus pages of writing, again, in order to make sure this fits smoothly when there's so little info on this topic. In Chapter 60, we are introduced to the concept of divine script. As explained by Says Where, it seems like it can be drawn on something like a boxing ring and then charged with Nen over time in order to boost the Nen abilities of the one who drew it later, as long as it is charged with aura and the inscriber is within a certain range. In Chapter 65, King seemed to have used a currently unnamed kind of inscription written on a plain piece of iron to help reinforce the box. Kilwan notes that it seems to have similar properties to Nen, and Gon compares the inscription to ones that were apparently on the promise string Wing gave Gon when he was banned from using Nen for 2 months. While the inscription seems to reinforce the box, applying ore to the box and the inscription inside seems to negate this property and make the wooden box containing it and the other contents fall apart. This does strengthen the comparison Gon makes to the promise string, since said string does indeed break when in Chapter 56, Gon uses Ted and applies enough aura in the same way. The box reinforced by the inscription seems to fall apart after being exposed to enough outside external aura. Wing also says that he uses his own Nen to get the string to function, so it seems both divine script and inscription require aura to power it like a battery. In Chapter 342, it looks like the Zodiacs using a handcuff that has a similar kind of appearance to the aforementioned divine script, and inscription to restrain beyond, which might imply that one, both, or similar kinds of inscription can be used to help restrain or monitor Nen users in some way. But this pattern could also just be a coincidence, or I am mistaken. There's always the chance that it's unrelated, depending on how much credit you want to give Togashi and or my perception. One thing I also wonder about is how do Nen types factor into this? Like, if you were storing the Nen within divine script, would emitters and manipulators have an easier time storing that much Nen? Or would it not matter? Is divine script just like doing its own thing? Spirits? Question mark? There's also potentially like spirits in Hunter x Hunter. They plagued Prince Fugetsu during the Succession War in places like Chapter 402, but when Benjamin acknowledges them, he says they are low-ranking curses that possess those with weak hearts and frail bodies. It doesn't appear to be Fugetsu's own Nen beast or someone's plan, and he postulates that they may have latched onto her due to despair at losing Kacho, before saying she won't last another 10 days in that state. They can't be scared off or warded off to exorcise them, but so far this has only been a temporary solution in both cases. In Chapter 400, Fugetsu tells Kacho that she can use her ability as much as she wants now, despite her worrying appearance and deteriorating condition. In the same chapter, Melody notes that her aura has dwindled so much it looks like she's using Zetsu, and the spirits are being drawn to her unstable heartbeat. Melody is also unable to identify what's causing the change or any evidence of trace aura possession. This could all just be a really subtle ability, but the wiki seems to be of the opinion that these could actually be their own entities that occur in the world. Ones that show up to haunt those who lack aura, a strong enough body, and a strong enough will. You could argue these spirits are a product of the Kakin Succession War, but if that is the case, then it seems strange Benjamin recognizes them as entities that target specific kinds of people. While it is indeed possible they are just a Nen ability, it's also possible they are preying on Fugetsu losing her will to live, or the ability of someone else leaves her open to these creatures. Only time will tell. Currently, I'm leaning towards more of the idea that they might be naturally occurring creatures of some sort, or parasites, that found an opening either from an ability or Fugetsu's own mental state, but again, we will see. Conclusion. Okay, that's about all I can think about covering. Major shout out to the Hunter x Hunter fandom wiki. While not everything they say I think is accurate, the way they have everything organized in the source makes my job a lot easier. If you want more, hopefully shorter Hunter x Hunter content, be sure to let me know. If you're a fan of the Magnus Archives or Magic the Gathering, I have written stuff about that on YouTube, Tumblr, and Google Docs, which you can check out in the links down below. I'm going to go take a nap, and when I wake up, I better not see anyone asking the difference between transmutation and conjuration, or manipulation and emission. If you have any fan-made Nen users or Nen abilities, feel free to leave them in the comments. You can also leave any questions or things you think I missed or got wrong in the comments, and I might, if I get enough of them, I might make like a Q&A video going over those here. Also, if you want to support me monetarily, so I can keep writing, so I can keep making time to write stuff like this, you can visit my Patreon or Ko-Fi. I also make art. If you want to check that out on my Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Thank you for listening.
Travel far across the globe, starting to awaken as you go. Lead us with the